Hello students, welcome to Standard 12th Mathematics. Here we are in lecture 27 now and the chapter 1 Relations and Functions. Before this we have seen example 27. Now we have about next is theorem 2. Theorem 2 is let the function f is from x to y and the another function g is from y to z be two invertible functions given f and g. Then g of f means g of f is also invertible with g of whole inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. This we want to show. F and g separately they are invertible given, and then we have to prove that g of whole inverse equals to f of inverse of g of inverse. G inverse. This is theorem, so we need the proof. The proof is to show that g of f is invertible by the definition of inverse function that we have seen last to last lecture. If f is inversible function, the function's inverse will be separate inverse of f inverse of g inverse. We want to show that g of f is invertible, and we want to show this also, g of f whole inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. To show this both, g of f is invertible with this, it is enough to show that f inverse of g inverse of g of f. Why this? You know that for invertible, if f is invertible, we are showing f inverse of f equals to I. For g inverse of g equals to I, identical function. Similarly, if you want g of f is invertible or not, what you want to prove? We want to show here that g of f is invertible, so we need g of f whole inverse of g of f equals to I. This we want to show. Now it is given that g of f of whole inverse equal to f inverse of g inverse, so we can write g of f whole inverse in place of that f inverse of g inverse of g of f equals to I. If we show this, that is only given f inverse of g inverse of g of f equals to I. If we show this, it shows that g of f is invertible, and with g of f inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. Means only one step is needed here to show this all, that g of f is invertible with this g of f whole inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. What you have to show? This f inverse of g inverse of g of f equals to ix, and its reverse g of f of f inverse of g inverse equal to iz. Why this? Because g of f is the function domain is f x, so ix. In f inverse of g inverse domain will be, because g's domain is y, so g inverse domain will be z, so it is iz. So if we show only these two things here and this, we will be able to say that the g of f is invertible with this g of f whole inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. So by inverse functions definition, this is we have to show to prove this. So we are starting with this portion, f inverse of g inverse of g of f equals, this can be written as f inverse of g inverse as it is of g in one bracket and of f is taken outside. This type of combination changing in combined function we can do by theorem 1. In theorem 1 we have seen. So this we can do. Now again the same way, f inverse of g inverse of g we are taking in one group. We can take this and of f outside and f inverse of this side outside. So g inverse of g, this way we can make the group. Again by theorem 1 we can change the group. Now f inverse of g inverse of g, because g is invertible function, given it is, f is also invertible. So g is invertible, so by definition what will be? G inverse of G equals to I y. G inverse of G equals to I because G domain is y. So therefore G inverse of G by definition of inverse function it will be I y. This F inverse of this means I y of F as it is. Why this G inverse of G can be write I y? By the definition of G inverse as given in the theorem statement that G is inversible. Now if invertible function I y is identical function, so it will have unit function. So F inverse of F will be remaining only because it will be one considered, unit considered, identical function considered. Now F inverse of F we have, and in the statement F is also invertible here. As G inverse of G is a IY, similarly F inverse of F will be with the domain I and Ix by the definition of F inverse as given in the statement. So you can see that F inverse of G inverse of GOF equals to Ix we got. Similarly the next part also we can get, so we have just written a statement. Similarly it can be shown that GOF of F inverse of G inverse equals to Iz also we can get, and by these two showing we have shown one, and the second one similarly we can show. If we have shown these two, so the theorem is proved. Hence the proof this way only we can show it, and this way the theorem is proved. Understood? Now the next very easy example we have 28. Let S equals to 1, 2, 3. The universal set given. In this only we have to think of every question. Determine whether the functions f from S to S defined as below have inverses, and find f inverse if it exists. So three questions related to this given. F is in A, F is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. What it means that the domain is 1 and its image is, the element of domain is 1 and its image is 1. The element of domain is 2 and its image is 2. So the element of domain is 3 and its image is 3. And similarly all the questions A, B, C is given. So in solution one by one, for the first number A, it is easy to see that F is 1, 1 and 1, 2. Why we can say 1, 1? Because for every element in domain 1, 2, 3, we have a distinct image on codomain 1, 2, 3. For 1, 1, for 2, 2, for 3, 3. Different elements have different images. So it is 1, 1. And why it is 1, 2? For every image 1, 2, 3, there is an element in domain 1, 2, 3. Different elements we are finding on domain. So it is on 2 also. So it is 1, 1 and on 2. So by the previous definition we can say that if the function is 1, 1 and on 2, it will be having inverse function that we have seen. So that way we can say F is invertible with F inverse, where F inverse can be defined as the element and image will be inverse. This is the element and its image. So now this will be the element and this will be the image. So 1, 1 it's reversed, 2, 2 also reversed, 3, 3 also reversed. So F inverse is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 and F is also 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. The same we are getting. So here in this particular question F inverse equals to F we are finding. The inverse and this real function, the same function and the real its inverse function both are coming same for this A. Now in B, the question is the element 1 its image 2, the element 2 its image 1, the element 3 its image 1. What is here the problem? The element 2 has its image as 1 and element 3 also has its image as 1. So that way we have started since in B, since F2 means the element 2 and F3 the element 3 both have image as 1. So F2 and F3 both equals to 1. For different elements the different images we don't have here, the same image we are getting. So it is not 1, 1 because for two different elements of domain we are getting the same image. It should be distinct but it is same here. So F is not 1, 1. If F is not in 1, 1, so F is not invertible also. So no question about the inverse function finding. In C now, this is the question. The element 1 has image 3, the element 3 has its image as 2, the element 2 has its image as 1. So again, it is easy to see that f is 1, 1 and 1, 2. For different elements of domain 1, 3, 2, different images we have, so it is 1, 1. And for different images of codomain, there is a different element in domain 1, 3, 2. So it is onto also 1, 1 and onto both. So it will be invertible. If it is invertible, so F inverse will be the reverse of image and element. 1, 3 will be 3, 1, 3, 2 will be 2, 3, and 1, 2, 1 will be 1, 2. This is the inverse function of F in C. So this way, example 28 we have seen. Now we have exercise 1.3. So you are advised to do it in homework. Solve the whole exercise 1.3.